Hello everyone! It's Wedding Wednesday! We're here tonight to talk about wedding stuff as we do every Wednesday. And just in case you're wondering who I'm speaking to beside me, I have my lovely assistant here today, Giuseppe, because my actual assistant, unfortunately, she cannot be in the same room with me right now. So, welcome to the show. For those of you who've never watched, this is Wedding Wednesday. I am Rose Marie. I'm a wedding planner at the Booster Box, and I'm here to answer your questions, and we are here to discuss whatever you'd like to discuss. What we are going to talk about today is what it's like to be a bride, what it is like to normally be a bride in normal situations, and what it's like to be a bride right now, because a lot of brides are going through a little bit more than a usual stressful situation. So if any brides want to come on, ask any questions, join on the conversation, you are more than welcome. Just hit the join button when you come in. Okay, so I had a few comments. I asked if anyone had any questions, and I had a few comments from brides. I always love my brides and their comments, and they give me advice and I give them advice, and I just love doing it, and I love being friends with them even afterwards. I love watching them grow in their relationships, have their babies. So I just love staying connected with them. It's amazing. So some of them have written that the first thing is being a bride is very stressful. I think it's stressful if you let it be stressful. One word of advice I can give you is, if you don't and you haven't thought about it, I do suggest hiring a wedding planner, especially a lot of the brides today who have a wedding planner. I know they feel more at ease because they have a wedding planner, doing all the back work for them, calling all their vendors if they have changed their date. If they're wondering if they should change their date, it's good to have a wedding planner to guide you through that. I have some people here that want to join. Let's see. Let's bring on Daniela. I'm waiting for Daniela to join in. She is one of my brides who's supposed to get married in April, and she moved her date not once but twice. Hi, Daniela. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You're still smiling. See, that's good.
Of course. You know what? You have to keep smiling through it all. You can't
cry. Right? That's the best way to do it.
You can cry, because crying won't change the fact that you have to move your date.
Yes. So you had your date for April 25th. For those of you who I'm not really sure where we're at in the industry, March weddings have been moved. April weddings, most of them have been moved, and now we're with going through May weddings. My May 30th wedding, so the last wedding in May, just moved her date. And you moved your date twice because we were hopeful that you could do it in May. But I'm kind of a little relieved, to be honest, that you have moved it again.
Yes.
Tell everyone, when did you move it to?
So what had happened was, I was all set. We were a month away, and I was kind of thinking, it's still mid-March. We'll be good for the end of April. A virus world, this thing changes every day, so we'll be good. And then I started realizing, okay, this is not good. So then I thought, okay, May 30th. And then, May 30th, it looks like it's out of the question. It's not happening. So then we decided November 14th.
Yeah, I mean, May, I'm pretty sure it's not happening. June, we're all still a bit hopeful. But yeah, you found a date, thank goodness, for this year, which is amazing. But you also did send out your invites, right?
I did. So all the invites were sent out. They came in. We were all ready to go. And then that's it. Then the virus hit, and it hit so quick. I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
So many emotions ran through me last week. I was, scared, and then a little bit of embarrassment, because you're like, you can't help but think, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed of this. Like, I have to contact all my guests, and it's not like I had a small guest list. And, but then, you know what? You just have to push through it. You can't cry, and that's it. And we're here.
And there's always ways to, you sent out your invites. You're not panicking, because we are now making you change the date cards. They're not save the date cards. Change the date cards, which you'll be mailing out to all your guests, right? So, and I think there's no reason to be embarrassed, because, I've done change the date before, and it was for many different reasons. But this is, a reason everybody understands. And to be honest with you, we had this. I know me and you had this conversation even if you did keep it for May, and even if, May 15th, everything is fine and dandy, it's going to take a little while for people to want to get out again, to want to, you have a wedding, you greet people, you're happy, usually you have a receiving line, and you may not want to be kissing all these people, even though they tell you it's okay. It's going to take a while. So I think you've made a good decision.
Thank you. I agree. And why have a wedding if you can't kiss, hug, dance, everyone's going to look over their shoulder, or who's going to cancel. And you don't want that. You don't want this dark cloud over your.
You want people to have fun. I know that there was a few weddings that happened in March because we were still, the government was very iffy about whether or not they wanted to, like they were saying you can have 50 people and, so people had their wedding, but I mean, it wasn't, what they wanted. People were not really in the mood. People were keeping away from each other. Anyway, do you have any advice for our brides that are going through this?
You know what? Look ahead. Don't look behind. Don't say you coulda, shoulda, woulda. Just move forward and you will have the most beautiful day. And you will be so happy. And at the end of the day, you're still marrying this guy or girl, doesn't matter. And it's going to be the best day ever.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be in touch because I'll be there for your wedding day.
For sure. Talk soon.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I see Roxy's here. Let me see if I can add her into our conversation. There she is. And she's coming on. There we go. Hi. How are you?
Oh, Lola, we're just doing a live. Relax. Hi, it's Roxy.
Hi, Lola.
Oh, come here.
I'm too loud. I'm yelling, aren't I? How are you? So, for everyone, want to introduce yourself? I'm sure they know who you are.
I'm Roxy Earl from Luxurious Roxy. You might know me from the Real Housewives of Toronto. And we're talking about like what it's like to have a stressful wedding. Oh my God, I got married in a monsoon, so.
Oh, see? But you still got married, right? As long as you say I do.
Literally, I was in Mexico. I had like this dream wedding. It was so over the top. We'd spent all this money. Like the whole thing was crazy. And then literally there was a monsoon. Like the rain was going sideways. And I just decided, like, you have all these people there and all these people are there just for you. You've just got to have fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you have some beautiful weddings. Beautiful pictures. Right? Sorry?
At the end of the day, the bride sets the tone for the whole thing. So more people are worried about if she's stressed out than if she's stressed out, then it stresses out everybody.
I actually had a bride once, and she got married in the Distillery District. So you can't really park close to the door or anything.
Yeah.
And she was stuck. There was a marathon, and she was stuck at the Trump Hotel. We were trying to get her there, and there was so much traffic, and there was roadblocks, and finally we just told her to Uber it, which, it's not the thing you wanted for your dream wedding, but you have to just get it done. And I tell people all the time, you have this plan, you have this beautiful dream, but you can't make a contract with God about whether or not it's going to rain or, Yeah, exactly. So she finally makes it there, and it started to spit rain, and she's so beautifully puts her running shoes on and runs through the Distillery District, gets there, changes her shoes, and she's like, okay, I'm ready.
What a story.
She's just gorgeous. So
it's kind of like sets you up for what marriage is like.
Yeah. Totally. So for those of you that are watching that are followers of Roxy, my name is Rosemary and I'm a wedding planner, and we're here. And I would just want to thank Roxy for being an avenue for any reviewers that are brides who are getting married, that are wondering where to go, who to talk to, what should I do? Should I change? Should I cancel? I'm sure you've had some messages. So if anyone has any questions, my lovely assistant over here will let me know if I miss any questions, and we'll try to answer them for you. Right?
I am ready for questions.
I don't know.
But I throw a lot of parties and I throw a lot of events.
Yes.
And so I'm used to like going with the flow when it comes to, my birthday party that I threw was like a wedding. It was like insane. Like most people thought it was another wedding. I was like, no, it's my birthday party. So I'm used to throwing these big events and like things happening.
I actually never told you this, but do you know that I was doing a site visit because I had a wedding at One Kig West, and we were going to look at Suite 1500, and I went up there, And it was all set up for this beautiful person's birthday, and I had no idea whose it was. And then I find
Was
out
it
later,
mine?
I was looking at it was yours. So I saw it before you did, actually. It
That
looks
was
really good.
really beautiful. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
love throwing incredible birthday parties for myself. I do them every year, and that was like a wedding. It was so well. You saw it. The theme of
I
my
actually
birthday
have,
party was like all white flowers and
yes.
candlelight, and that was a beautiful night.
It didn't even look like what the room normally looks like. You
Oh no,
couldn't tell.
yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
You can transform
So,
things with flowers and candles.
yeah, actually, I have a 40th birthday party planned in May, and I think I'm gonna have to move it, but
Well, I'm
we'll
supposed to be
see.
in Miami right now for a 40th birthday, and we all just like went on Zoom yesterday, and Zoom surprised our girlfriend whose 40th it is. We like sang to her. We had a little cake, and I mean everyone is adjusting to and canceling things and all this stuff. But I'm sure you have brides who have questions. I'm happy to answer anything. Give some people some
Yes. So
advice.
I'm just gonna raise my volume here a little bit because it's. Can I do this? Let's see here. Okay, there we go. And I can hear you better. Let's see. Do we have any questions here? June bride, my venue is only offering me to change my date to Sundays in November, December, and charging me the same June Saturday prices. Is this what other venues are doing? So, to answer your question, first of all, I'm not sure which venue it is. Every venue has their own policies. I'm trying to speak to a bunch of different ones. A lot of them are trying to keep you for this year because, first of all, they don't want to wipe the year out. Because the thing is that they have to keep their business afloat as well. So if everybody from this year cancels and moves to next year, there might not be a venue by next year. So we're really trying to keep you guys all in the same year. And I believe that's probably why they're charging. The other thing is because how it's worked that if their whole June is wiped out, the way they plan their business is to have a certain amount come in June. And so they've charged you for June. June prices had to carry on to later in the year because they have to make up for the money that they didn't make in June. I don't know if that makes any sense what I'm saying. Does that answer your
I don't know
question?
if you're talking to me. I don't.
No, I'm talking. Yeah, I'm
I don't
talking
know
to
if
the
anyone has
bride.
any questions for anything I do, but I don't know about that stuff.
Yes. So I don't know if that's one of your viewers or one of mine, but hopefully that answers your question. So yes, I mean you're not going to get special deals because you're moving your date. Hopefully they're allowing you to postpone your move over your deposit because there are some venues that are recharging you next year for deposit. How soon before should you be considering to postpone? My wedding is August 22nd. Okay, so for that, right now I can tell you that the industry is at moving May and they're starting to move June. We're trying to slowly move people so we can get the people who are really affected right now to have their spaces and their dates to move. Because we can't have everybody changing at the same time, there really won't be any dates. Also, we don't know what's happening in August, so it might just be possible that you can have your wedding in August. So just actually speak to your venue and see what they tell you about when they'll be willing to move August dates. Should I postpone my end of July wedding? I'm panicking. Same question. I wouldn't do anything as of right now, although I would call your venue and I would call your florist to see if you're going to have any, penalties or anything. If you move too close. Oh my God, me too. I'm stuck paying the same amount. Yes. Okay. Do you have any questions for Roxy, sorry, while we have her here? And I think I have someone writing down questions here. So if we miss any, I apologize. What is the new? Okay. Is that for me or for Roxy?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why don't I answer one of these? It says, Melissa
what are the
says,
new trends?
Roxy, what's the best advice you can give for a bride going through this? I think that like everybody is super aware of the fact that the world has really just taken a pause. And I think that you just need to remember what's important, that you're marrying somebody you love, that this is actually just a party, and that it is so special that when the world is in such turmoil that you have found somebody to share your life with that's filled with love. I think that's so beautiful. Focus on what's important in the grand scheme of the world. Parties can happen at any moment. You can get married and have a party for your 1 year wedding anniversary, you know, like I think that's like such a good idea for so many brides. Can go get married if like you're looking to have a family or do whatever you want to do, and then maybe like have a year celebration. I would just say that you can't stress about things that you cannot control. So you got to just take a deep breath and let it go.
Yes, that, you know what, and that's good advice even on your wedding day, because there's a lot of times where things happen. I tell people this all the time, especially if you have a planner and it really helps you out throughout the whole day. Things are not going to go the way you expected it to go. So breathe, and there's always a plan B, not to worry about it. And also, for those of you that are wondering, if you've gotten your marriage certificate, they only they expire after 90 days. So some of you would want to get married soon and you don't have your certificate yet, you might not be able to get it because the offices are closed. Also, you can have a private ceremony. You're still allowed to do that. Have a private ceremony, like Roxy said, get married, have your, you know, closest 5 family members or witnesses, get married, and then you can go have, you know, a party later on in the year, have your re-ceremony. Maybe you don't want to tell people you got married, or you can let people know and have a ceremony again on site, and you don't have to worry about, you know, getting another certificate. But after they expire, you can reapply again. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. Any more questions for Roxy, you guys? Let's see here. Well, I wanted to actually talk to you. I did get a question earlier. And for those of you that don't know, Roxy is such an amazing model for all women. She is so positive. And we were talking about what it's like, because I know this is a big stress for a lot of brides. One of the biggest thing a bride has to do is go buy their dress. And it's a big stress because, you know, they want to make sure they make the right choice. But I do know that even for myself, I've been in a situation where I've gone shopping many times. And I know you're very good at giving advice on this. I've gone shopping many times where, you know, I'm there and just things do not fit me. And I know that in the wedding industry, you know, if you go to look for a wedding dress, they usually bring in for samples sizes between 8 and 12. And that's not a size for everyone. It's very hard for brides to, you know, if they can't fit in a sample, how are they going to know what it looks like? Do you have any advice for those brides?
Yeah, just stop worrying about what your body looks like when you're getting married. Like, remember what's important here. Do you want to spend like this wonderful day you spent all this money on? All these people are here to see you and celebrate you, and you shouldn't be concerned with anything else but feeling love, enjoying it, and experiencing it. Never miss a life moment because you're worried about how your body looks. That's one thing. And there's so many great options for plus size brides and brides of all sizes now. Vera Wang has a line with David's Bridal. Like, I had a custom Vera Wang gown, so it's not as attainable, but she has a line for David's Bridal. There's so many great lines that have come out. Ashley Graham, I think, just did one with Provonos. There's so much plus size bridal out there. I did 3 wedding gowns with my collection with Le Chateau. They're still on their website. There's lots of things you can do. Just whatever you do, wear something you're comfortable in, and definitely don't stress. Oh, here's a cute question. Can you share a favorite moment from, this is from Nicole, I think. Roxy, what was your favorite moment from your wedding day? Were there any moments that didn't go as planned, and how did you handle this? I can talk to that. My entire wedding was extremely extravagant and beautiful, and none of it went as planned. So we rented out our favorite hotel in Mexico and made it totally private. And I brought down like an entire team of people to execute this incredible vision that we had. And it would not stop raining. Like, it did not stop raining we had everyone there for 4 days. And I promise you, from the second we arrived to the second we left, it did not stop raining. And so we had all of these different events planned over 3 days in different parts of the hotel. And all of this stuff down there to like create arches and chandeliers hanging from trees and craziness. And none of it could happen because of the rain. So we had to replan everything while we were there the day it was happening. And at first, like, you have a moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I've put so much money into this, attention, time, effort. I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. And then you just realize you set the tone for the whole night. And you're so lucky that all these people had flown all over the world to be there for me and celebrate that moment. And we were just super grateful for that. And we just had so much fun. We just said, let it rain. And we had like the greatest time ever. And I guess someone's asking, I'm like, what was the favorite moment? One of my favorite singers, they surprised me with one of my favorite singers who flew in from LA and sang to me on my wedding day. That was pretty special.
That sounds very special. What I was gonna say was, you know, it's very true about you setting the tone. The bride sets the tone. Obviously, that's who most people are staring at throughout the day. But also, I mean, I tell a lot of brides, I'm the type that, you know, I'll go into the room the morning. It's very hectic. The morning is the most hectic part of the day when they're getting ready, when the photographers are there.
I didn't have any.
Well, this is the typical wedding that I usually deal with. And I've done it before where I've stopped everything because I can see in the bride's face that they're just not present. They're not there. Something, and it could be something so simple as like their one little hair is out of place and they make it ruin their whole day. And I just have to stop them and bring them back to earth and tell them why they're doing this and tell them they're going to see the man of their dreams within an hour and they're going to be married. And that if they have this face on and they look back at their photos, I mean, imagine if you were like horribly stressed out through all your photos because of the rain. You would look back on your photos and say, what was I thinking? I look horrible and I just want to do the day over. And nobody wants that when they look back.
I just think none of that stuff matters. Like, you have all these people there who love you. At the end of the day, it's a celebration of love. Like, remember what's important, why you're doing this. Have like in the grand scheme of things, like if your hair or makeup didn't work out how you wanted it to, or your dress gets ripped. I mean, like a million things can happen. It snows, there's traffic, whatever. Do you really want to spend that day stressed, or do you want to spend it enjoying? Like and just like in marriage and just like in any relationship, you want to take every experience and whatever life throws you, you pivot and embrace it. Like, that's part of having a wonderful outlook on life. So I think as any bride, she should just do that.
Yes. And you know what? I love you for being such a ray of sunshine all the time. Every time I'm watching you, you're just so positive. From now on, I'm just going to tell my brides, if you're stressed, let's go see if Roxy's on live. And she'll make you happy.
I'm weirdly positive. So yeah.
Well, that's good. I watched you today, actually. So now I know why you have that beautiful glow on your face. With the clay.
I have a lot of people who help me make my skin glow like this. So don't worry.
No, that's okay. So yeah, I had a few comments today about brides, and the brides were sending in to other brides, and one bride was saying, just do it. Don't think about all these little details, which is great advice, which is what we're trying to say to you as well. Just, you have everything planned. Again, whatever goes wrong, just do it. You're not going to stop because the flower is wrong, and you're not going to say I do because of that.
For me? I've got Lola here looking at me like, what are you doing, Mama?
What are you doing?
Lives are my new conference calls.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't see any here, but if there are, we will, I'll send them to you and then you can answer them, and I'll just send your answers to my clients. So thank you for joining us. And like I said again, thank you for being a positive, positivity, especially for what's going on in these past few weeks with everyone. It's always great to have someone positive speak to my brides.
No, to all the brides, just remember, this is like, you have this like amazing story. If you can get through the stress of having all of this happen while you're trying to get married, then it's like a perfect beginning to what real relationships are like. There's so much that's going to be thrown your way. And it's just, think of it as your first test as a couple. Right. And I believe you guys can all get through it. I know it's super stressful, but I think there's so many people out there trying to do the right thing and help people out and take care of one another, and just have a lot of compassion for all the businesses you're dealing with and the vendors you're dealing with. And in the meantime, stay home, stay healthy. Remember, some people are dying right now from this. So if all you have to do is postpone a party, in the grand scheme of life, it's not right. I'm wishing you guys all positive vibes.
Thank you for joining us.
Love. And thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay, everyone. I'm going to see if there's any more questions that I missed. See a lot of comments coming through. And let's see if there's any more brides that'd like to come on. I had a few brides that were going to come on and talk to us about their experience. Let's see here. Yeah, I think Christina's coming on. Christina is having her wedding soon. Wait, is this hers? Oh, hey!
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What do you have to say to our brides? I'm sure you have lots to say.
I have lots to say. So I am one of Rosemary's past brides.
Yes.
And I wouldn't regret a thing. Rosemary was so helpful that day. So I assure you, everybody get a wedding planner. She was there for my day and I couldn't have, thanked her enough. My biggest advice for brides is don't regret anything. If you want it, get it. Because over the years, you're going to dwell over it that you didn't get it. So don't think of the money, just do it.
Yeah. That's good advice. I mean,
advice.
some people can say, well, when they're in the middle of things, they can say, well, oh my gosh, it costs this much, it costs this much. And I just try to put things in perspective for people like, oh my gosh, this is $30. And I want to say to them, just don't go to Starbucks next week.
Yeah.
Right? You have to think about
budget
where
your
you can move your money. Yeah, you have to. And we're not saying to keep spending more and more money. We're just saying budget yourself and figure out where you can move your money to get what you want. And yes,
Right.
you're so right. If you're going to keep regretting that you didn't get that, I don't know, one chair.
2 years later, I'm
yeah.
still regretting that I didn't get the chandeliers on the ceiling.
Oh, see, but I just think your wedding was still beautiful without it.
Well, for a wedding of 439 people, I think I did pretty well.
Yeah. We
But
survived.
that's my advice for all brides. Just do it. Don't regret it. There are going to be some things where you're going to have to do behind your fiance's back. And don't worry, I did a couple of those things.
You're not supposed to say that.
That's okay. I'm telling
Only
you
I'm
guys
supposed
the
to know.
truth. I'm telling you the truth. Just do it.
Yes. Good advice.
Yeah.
Was that
that's
you
my
that said
advice.
just do it? It was you that said just do it, right? You sent
Yeah,
me that comment?
that's my
Okay.
advice for all brides.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Thank you.
and then like Roxy said, if for some of those brides that are going through this COVID-19 pushback of your wedding, look at it as, you can celebrate later. You can postpone it, but you want your day to be special. So if you do have to postpone it, that's probably the best thing that you can do just to ensure everybody's safety.
Yeah. And again, you want people happy. You want people in a good mood. You don't want people like, oh, don't sit near me, right?
Exactly. And, like every European wedding, you're going to be getting kisses and hugs and, with this whole thing going on. And what are you going to say? No?
Yeah. Actually, we
Right.
did get a question. Someone sent a question. What do we do about receiving line? Well, I mean, I think that actually was for makeup. Sorry. She was talking about receiving. So why don't you answer this? Do you remember if you had a receiving line, you hugged and kissed a bunch of people. Did your makeup
Yes.
get all ruined?
My makeup didn't get ruined, but one thing that I can give advice to brides for is on my wedding day, it rained. Yes, it is good luck. So I have accepted that fact that it did rain. However, my hair did get like a tangly and didn't look the greatest in the evening. So another piece of advice for brides is that if you are getting your hair done, like myself, I got it done early in the morning. See if your hairdresser is able to come to your venue in the evening to fix your hair, because half of your guests don't see you at church or at your ceremony. Most of them, or ones that RSVP'd, come to your reception in the evening. So if your hairdresser is able to come to your reception area in your little private room over there to fix your hair, that's another piece of advice I would give to brides.
Just make sure, if you do that, my advice on that is make sure you put that in your itinerary, because
Yes.
that is a half an hour loss right there. Just so you know, you
Yes.
plan on having family photos and that stuff.
Yes.
We've had it where the bride will bring someone and then I don't even know somehow, and then we're waiting. And
But brides, if you have Rosemary and you do forget things on your itinerary, don't worry, because she's on the ball and she will just do it for you.
yes, and if it's not on there, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll figure it out. You always do.
Look, she's still smiling, right?
Still smiling, Still married, haven't killed him yet, but still regretting not getting those chandeliers.
But COVID's a good test to your marriage, right? Is he home?
No, he's working. He's an essential.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
stay safe and thank you
Yes.
for coming on.
Oh,
And
anytime.
we'll see you soon.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so I did have a question here. I have my invites ready to go. Should I mail them? So for invitations, you have a few situations that could be happening. You could have mailed out your invites already. And what we're doing is we're printing, a cheaper version, something affordable, change the dates for the brides, and they're mailing those out. And if you're ready to mail out your invite, so you're probably getting married May, June, and you're not sure if you're going to move it yet, what I would suggest is printing an insert that says something along the lines of, due to the current situation, this wedding date might change and we'll keep you posted. And how you can keep people posted is by, you can create a wedding website. You can go on theknot.com and make your own website, and you can write the website in this little insert that you put with your invites and keep people posted. That's the easiest way. Hopefully that answers your question. Someone wanted to know if Roxy was on TikTok. I haven't seen any TikToks from Roxy, and I will ask her for you. So whoever that is, you can send me a private message. I missed a whole bunch of questions. Let's see here. Let's see. What is the newest trend? Charcuterie is out. Is that two questions?
That was one question.
Oh, is charcuterie out? Is that a question? If the question was, is charcuterie out? I don't think it is out. Still going strong. People always love to be able to pick their own food. People love to be able to go, they love antipastos. It's still, you know what? I always suggest have an antipasto bar. You know that everyone's going to get food when they get in, because when you have served hors d'oeuvres, not everybody gets a piece. And a lot of the waiters tend to walk around and go to the same people, or they get attacked as soon as they come out the door. So I like when it's, you have an antipasto bar, and also, it's very easy to refill, make sure everybody gets some, and then we can, it's easier to tell when to start, because we can see when the antipasto bar is almost finished and not many people are getting up. Then that's our cue to, okay, let's start cleaning up, we can start, as opposed to just cutting off hors d'oeuvres when somebody, when there's a time limit. People will take time to heal. Yes. How do you think people will feel in attending a wedding in the summer? I feel there still may be a weird given. I think we're all hopeful for the summer. I don't think that that's going to be a big issue. I'm hopeful. In June, I can see it being an issue still. How are people going to feel? Like I said before, let's just say that they, May 15th. Okay, guys, there's no new cases. It's going to take a few weeks before they even let us out of, this quarantine to make sure there's no new cases. And then after those few weeks, it is going to take another few weeks for people to get more comfortable. But I also do really believe that people are really going to want to get out and celebrate life. So hopefully for the summer, we're all ready to celebrate life. Unless it's too close to the situation, right. Okay. If people get worried to come, do you think vendors will negotiate the agreed number of guest list? If people get worried to come, do you think vendors will negotiate the agreed numbers? Do you mean venues? Will venues negotiate? I'm not sure. Again, I can't speak for venues. They all have different policies, different prices. I do know that there's some venues that will, let's just say, they don't say, I guarantee me 180 people. What they say is guarantee me this amount of money spent. So if you had planned to have 180 people, and then when you get your responses, you only have 140, you can maybe make up those 40 plates somewhere else by upgrading your menu, by adding, I don't know, something to the sweet table at night, adding a porchetta. You need to really talk to your venue. Some will, some won't. Some might drop down, your numbers, your minimum number, depending on what else they have going on in the hall that day. It all depends. You need to talk to your venue. People, yes. Okay, I'm sure your wedding was still beautiful even without the chandeliers. Yes, our venue would not negotiate the minimum amount. I'm not sure how you negotiated. I'm not sure if you talked to them and said, just can you lower my minimum? I'm not sure what the conversation was. So if you want to DM me, you can. My wedding is early August. I will be sending out invites in May. They're already printed. Yes, I do have some clients who are getting married in the summer. We are waiting a little bit. What we are going to do is probably just reprint the inside, try to salvage what we can from the invite. Like, we printed a map, we're keeping that map. We're going to reprint response cards if it's necessary, and we're just going to, put the inside, glue the inside on top. I'm not sure what your invitation looks like. If it's layered, you can always print another piece and put it on top of the other layer. You have to talk to the person who did your invitations because you have to see what you can salvage. There's some papers that if you try to rip them apart, the whole thing is trash. So, and you know what, even consider altering what your invitations was originally supposed to look like. Don't forget to look at what amount your under guarantee is. A lot of people are left in the dark with that. Yes, exactly. So it's not just always about numbers, it's about the amount of money that you've guaranteed them. Do you suggest a guest list B? Is this in general, or is this with the situation we have now? A guest list B. I never usually suggest, I'm thinking what you're asking is, should I send out, 100 invites and then send out the list B after the responses come in to see how many people have said no, and then I can invite more people. I personally wouldn't do that because people might talk. Also, you're going to pay more to print 2 different types of invites. So I probably wouldn't do that. You won't necessarily need 2 different types of main invite, but you're going to probably need a different response card. So it's going to cost you more money to do that. What can I do after my private wedding of the church? Do you mean on the same day? Private wedding at the church, if you're getting married now within the situation we're having, I suggest just having your closest family. You still need to distance yourself unless you've been around them within the last few weeks quarantine, and you trust where they've been. Then I think whoever comes to the church, you can have a little dinner afterwards, depending on what time your ceremony is, have some coffee. I'm not sure what your dress situation is, if you have to wear your full wedding dress on that day, or get something a little more casual and save your beautiful wedding dress for when you have your wedding. I know that some of you might get into situations where you're going to have alterations or going to have to change your alterations again. Some of you are not even able to pick up your dresses right now because stores are closed. So see what's available for you. Let's see, it's going too fast here. Okay, do people do a receiving line after the ceremony, or does it depend on timing? Okay, my suggestion to all my clients, after a ceremony, I never suggest to do a receiving line. What I mean by that is a full lineup, because once you start, you have to get through the whole line. So it's going to be hard to get out of there, especially if you need to go take pictures and you're short on time. It also depends on the time you're getting married. If you're getting married at 2, try as hard as you can not to have a receiving line, depending how far you are for your photos. What I always suggest is the bride and groom kind of hang around near each other and greet whoever comes to them. And then I tell them to let me know to give me like 15-20 minutes. In 15-20 minutes, I'll get you out of there. This way you don't have to hit every person that's come to the ceremony. I know that sounds kind of rude, but people understand. And if it's really an issue where you have to leave and you don't have time to greet anyone, you can get your priest or your officiant to make an announcement saying that you will meet them at the venue. But like I tell a lot of brides, they're like, I want to get out of there as soon as my ceremony's done. I want to get on the bus. I can tell you right now that naturally you're going to want to hug and kiss your parents when you come out of your ceremony. You could just cut your timing on that. Let's see. Hi, Cakes and Sweets by Anna. Let's see. Do people okay? When should September wedding invites go out? So typically invitations go out 2 to 3 months before your wedding. So what's that? July, June? I usually have my invites because I also make invites. I have the invites to my clients 3 to 4 months before the wedding, and then it's up to them. I mean, in the summer when it's really usually busy, I try to tell them to send them out 3 months before. So plan for 3 months before, because September is very popular, believe it or not, more popular than the summer. I have a May 3rd shower and I contacted the venue, but they said, let's see how this all goes. I asked about switching for June, but they said they had nothing. How do I approach this? What's your wedding date again? July? Well, like weddings, we're also trying to tell people to consider other days of the week. So you might want to change your shower to a Friday or a Thursday. You can make it a cool ladies' night. Let's see. Let's see how this all goes. Let's see how this all goes means a lot of things. So they have to understand that you need to send out invites. If you haven't sent out invites already, maybe you probably have already. You're gonna have to call everybody back to change your date. So I mean, if you already sent invites out and they're okay with you changing your mind a week before, because you need to know how far in advance they have to order the food. At what point are they going to penalty you? And hopefully they have that, take that into consideration when they tell you this. So talk to them about how far in advance are they going to penalty you if you change your date. Usually they don't order food till like a week before the event, and if they're not going to penalty you and allow you to change, then you did ask them early enough. So hopefully by them telling you this, that allows you some wiggle room to move your date after. Regardless, now I think you're going to have to end up calling everybody if you change your date. Switch your shower to Friday night. Exactly, switch to Friday night. I think Thursday nights are very cool too. And when people say, "Oh, who's going to go on a Thursday night?" I have gone to so many charity events, and there's thousands of people there, and it's a Thursday night. And people stay till at least midnight. And let's be honest, at weddings, the only people that stay till 1 o'clock in the morning are the 20 closest people to you that are like spending the last hour on the dance floor. So, and they'll do that for you on a Thursday. You know what? If they're close to you, if they want to stay out late, they'll stay out late. They'll cancel work the next day. They won't go in. But there's always ways to do things. So consider a Thursday. Do I just contact people that said yes? Good question, because they might have said no because they couldn't make it on the day and they had another event. So I'd probably contact everyone. Unfortunately, you probably don't have all their email addresses or anything like that to send out. So, you have two choices. Either you're going to remail something or call them. And in your case, if you're going to make that decision really close to the date, you have to call them. How much time do you give guests to RSVP? I usually have them RSVP by a month before, because for many reasons, the florist orders all the flowers at least a month before. So they need to know your final numbers. You need to give your final numbers to your hall. They need that at least a week and a half before. You need to give yourself some wiggle room to call people, because yes, that always happens. You need to call people who have not responded. So, a month is good. You can even do a little bit more than a month if you'd like. Do shower invites go out before wedding invites? Typically, if you're going to have your shower before your wedding, yes. What people tend to do is they send out their wedding invites. Like if their shower's on a Monday, they'll put them on a Sunday, they'll put their wedding invites in the mail on the Friday, to have them out right after their shower. That's what typically happens. Now, if your shower is a month before the wedding, you can't do that. People typically have a shower about 3 months before. Let's see here. Okay, I think I missed a lot before that. Lovely assistant, is there any questions that I missed? No. Oh, I need to take a sip of water. Are there any other brides that want to come on and give us your experience? I have had, so some of the comments that were sent earlier was that it's stressful. Yes, we touched on that. It is stressful. We're not going to take that away from you and say that it's not stressful. It is stressful. Again, not trying to promote you getting a wedding planner, but having a wedding planner does help you a lot because it takes stress off of you, especially if you're very busy. They know how to cut the steps down of, first of all, they know which vendors, which other professionals are good to send you to. So you don't have to do so much searching. So that helps you with that. Just even little things that you don't know that happen in the background within the industry, questions about the venue, questions about flowers, little rules that you didn't know. It's always helpful to have a planner to help you with. That relieves the stress. And it also relieves the stress of things happening. Like I have a lot of people hire me for the day of, and the final week is a lot of stress for them. Pretty much the day of means I'm with them for the final week. And it's much easier to put out fires earlier or prevent fires earlier if you have a planner or you have a partial planner, than to have a day of planner and we're dealing with things final week. So if you don't want as much stress, think about having even a partial planner for the final month as opposed to just a day. Let's see, what is the typical booster amount these days for envelopes? if you're not putting at least $200 a person, yes, Tanya, if you're not putting at least $200 a person, you're not doing the average, putting an average busta. I know that, I mean, plates can range anywhere from 130 to 220. It's not your job to cover plates. But, if you want something in there for the bride and groom after they paid their plate, 200 is a good place to start. If it's someone a little closer to you, I know when I go as a couple, we put $500 between the two of us. I mean, and that's totally up to you, but you can't go with $100, that's for sure. Glad that, aw, so sweet. Yes, I'm looking forward to her wedding. Kayla's wedding. Okay, brides, don't be surprised when you open your busta. Yes, so there are some people who make up for other people. You're always going to have someone who puts less than you expected. I mean, you can't get angry about that. There's no technically rule of what they should be putting. But do know that there are people in your family that are going to put way more than you expected. Your aunts, your uncles, your parents, I'm assuming, will make up for the people who are not putting what you expected. Have all weddings slowed down and have future weddings been canceled? Do people get their money back from the hall and such? Okay, so if we're talking about deposits are not being given back because most people are postponing, and then vendors are just being really good at moving the deposit to the new date. Are people canceling? I'm finding more postponements than canceling. People still want to get married, so hopefully they don't cancel. Let's see, have a wedding. So if they have slowed down now because people are moving. So right now, I know me personally, and I've talked to a bunch of vendors, they're pretty much wiped out of weddings from April to May. So hopefully we can start celebrating again in June, but we're now starting to think about June. Do the halls work with you if you want a performance like a dance? Will they adjust lighting, or is that all the DJ? Okay, so depending on which venue you're going to, most venues these days have an in-house sound and lighting company. It's not going to be necessarily the person you hire for a DJ. You can hire them for a DJ, but sometimes you hire a separate DJ and you have your in-house sound. So the in-house sound and lighting, I mean, you can bring in like your DJ. If you don't hire the in-house DJ, you can bring in a DJ that has their own lighting. Some halls won't even allow that, and I wouldn't even recommend that because the in-house lighting is the best thing to go with. The lighting technician would control the lighting for the performance, but you'd have to get the performer and the sound and lighting company to correspond beforehand, at least, so that they know that. And you have it on the itinerary that there is a performer. Ask the performer what they need. Ask the DJ what they need. Do they need songs on a USB? Do they have an instrument that needs to be hooked up with the sound and lighting at the hall? So you have to make sure that they speak to each other. Hopefully that answers your question. What happens if you need to postpone and a vendor can't do your new dates? Well, it all depends on the vendor. Talk to all your vendors. If you're going to postpone your date, obviously, first of all, you have to talk to your venue. Then you need to talk to your planner because they need to be available, and talk to your officiant and your church. Everyone else, I mean, florists can do many weddings in a day. Decor people can do many weddings in a day. If you have a performer, that's someone you have to talk to and consider that you might lose that performer because there's only one of them. But most companies like photographers, videographers, they have a team. So if the one person that you wanted on the team is not available, they will send you someone else. And even for wedding planning, I have the same, I have a team. So if I can't make it on the day that you're changing it to, then I will send you another team. Usually that's how it happens. If you really can't get anyone on that day from that company, talk to the company. I know that I have it in my contract that I will find someone for you. I will recommend, the next best thing. And then you can talk to that company about payment, deposit, whatever it is. You have to talk to them because everyone has a different policy. I'll be calling you when I'm ready. Okay. What's typical for taking bustas home at the end of the night? Open them. Okay. So what we recommend to our clients is to get bank bags or even Purolator bags if you can't get it from a bank. What we do is after the receiving line, we, three of us will go into the room, the bridal suite where it's private. We don't let anyone in. We count the envelopes, not what's in the envelopes. count the envelopes so we know how many there are, just in case anything goes missing. We put them in the bags, we seal them, we write on them how many are in there, and hopefully the venue has a safe. If the venue doesn't have a safe, then there's many different options. You can have some security, like Canadian Protection Division. I'm pretty sure they do this. You know, you can have security watch your bag, your boostas, or you put them in the room and you have security at the room. I've seen that. I've also seen people, you know, put it in a bag and tie it, you know, lock it to a table and have their grandmother sit there all night. If you want protection, walk into the car. You can also get security for that. But what I do suggest is the last thing you do at the end of the night when everybody's gone is that's the last thing that comes out. And when you go to your car, that comes in the car with you, whoever's taking it home. I don't suggest leaving, going to put it. You can't really do it. Not many banks will take it anymore. Leaving it, put it in a bank. You can't really do that. I don't suggest having someone important leave to go bring it to a house and come back for 2 reasons. One, we have a schedule, and if your father leaves for half an hour, we have to like put things on hold. And the other reason is because a lot of people might know they're not home. So if you bring money home and come back, you know, you might get broken into. And I always suggest to my clients to get, you know, a company like Canadian Protection Division to watch your house while you're having your party. Because if all your neighbors are at your party too, and you know, you have your flowers outside and you can tell that there's a wedding been there, that's been there that day, you know, you might be a target. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's see here. We have a few more minutes. After I got all these. What is this? What else can we have at a receiving line besides shots? Oh, my lovely assistant learning his writing. Okay, so what else can we have at a receiving line besides shots? Oh my gosh, there's so many options. You know what? Shots are not even, people don't really do that anymore. You can have a champagne bar. I've seen champagne walls. I've seen ice bars. People have rented a bar totally made of ice. Martini bars. You can have Aperol Spritz is very popular now. You can have a girl hanging from a ceiling with vodka and they pour it through an ice block. There's so many crazy things you can do. Speak to your venue first to see what they can do for you so you're not paying extra to have something else come in. But if it's in your budget, there's so many crazy things you can do besides shots. Let's see here. Thanks, Giuseppe, for noting my question. Lovely assistant. Excuse me. My throat's getting dry now. Okay, so we are just about ready to wrap up. I want to thank you guys again for watching Wedding Wednesday. We will be back next week. And please send us your questions throughout the week. We will, well, your hair though. We will be around to answer questions. We'll have different topics next week. And that's Patty there, the last comment of the evening. She likes my hair. I have the spray in, okay? She's my hairdresser, and my hair is getting white, and now I'm trying to figure out other ways because Patty says I'm not allowed to to color my hair without her ever again. So be kind to your hairdresser because she'll be really busy when this is over. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. I love you. If you have any questions, if you need a planner, if you need some guidance, message me. We're here through email, through text, through Instagram. We're always here for you. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week.